Before this video starts, if you enjoyed this video, there are many more like it already on the channel with many more like it to come in the future, so subscribe. I am trying to hit 125,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so I would really appreciate it. I upload 7 days a week on this channel, so if you're looking for some consistent basketball talk, this is the place for it. Also, drop a like on this video. It only takes 1 second. It makes a massive difference. So if you're watching this video, it means that the Boston Celtics have been eliminated in the conference finals against the Miami Heat, either in Game 6 or Game 7. Game 6 is going on literally right now. I'm recording this video right as the first quarter is starting, so I'm gonna miss like the first half of it, but I'm taking the assumption, based on the fact that the Heat went up 3-1, that the Heat won the series. If they lost the series, and I recorded this video for no reason, I'm going to be kind of pissed off. So, win Miami. But obviously, if you're seeing this video, it means they did. So, congratulations to the Miami Heat. I wanted to get an unscripted video out pretty much as soon as the buzzer went off about who would win the 2020 NBA championship now that we have our 2 teams set to match. So, it's obviously the Lakers versus the Miami Heat. And in the case of the Lakers, of the 2 teams in the conference finals, this was the team that I would have liked to see the least. Because the Boston Celtics, in my opinion, were not going to have a good matchup versus the Lakers because, as we know, the Celtics are not particularly good with defending big men, and the Los Angeles Lakers obviously have Anthony Davis, so that's a huge advantage. If Anthony Davis had Daniel Tice on him for an entire series, he would eat. But now he has to match up against Bam Adebayo, who in my opinion is one of the 3 best defensive players in the entire league. So that's a lot more of a struggle. And in the case of the LeBron James matchup, Jimmy Butler is going to defend LeBron pretty well. Jimmy's defense is always an interesting conversation because when he really tries, he is an all-NBA level defender. When he's being a little bit more casual, he's kind of a player that coasts a little bit from time to time. You can clearly tell that there's times where he has it turned on and turned off. Sometimes it's turned off inappropriately, and that can cost the Heat at times, but generally he knows when to turn it on. And defensively, I expect Jimmy Butler to be turned on. Pause. You know what I mean. I expect him to care on defense for this entire series, especially guarding LeBron James. I also think there's going to be a good amount of Jay Crowder on him, a good amount of Andre Iguodala on him. So defensively, the Miami Heat are in a good position to handle the Los Angeles Lakers. So as a result, I think this series could actually be close. A matchup of the Lakers and the Celtics, even though I think the Celtics match up good with the Heat, I don't think they match up good with the Lakers, and I think if that was the finals matchup, it would be a 5-game series in favor of LA. Not so much the case with the Miami Heat. So let's talk about the individual matchups. So Goran Dragic is probably going to be defended by Danny Green, probably. So Danny Green is a pretty good matchup against Goran Dragic as he is a good defensive player, but Dragic is going to have no issue defending Danny Green because Danny Green practically defends himself. I swear to God, Danny Green trends every single game because of how much Lakers fans hate the guy. He is not a horrible 3-point shooter, generally speaking, so Dragic should have no issue sticking to him. That's what I'm expecting the matchup to be on both ends. For Duncan Robinson versus KCP, I think they're about equal in talent in that regard. Like, Duncan's a better 3-point shooter. KCP is a little bit better of a ball handler and a defensive player. Actually, a lot better of a defensive player. So, yeah, I think that one's pretty much even. And then LeBron versus Jimmy Butler. Obviously, LeBron James is a better player. However, LeBron is going to have to put up effort on defense in this series, and that matters. Now, he has shown that he doesn't have a huge problem doing that in these playoffs so far. However, it is going to be a factor in how good he is offensively. I definitely think the Miami Heat need to make a point to really get Jimmy Butler involved, because when the Heat really look unstoppable is when Jimmy Butler is having a really good game. Really, the reason why the Heat beat the Bucks, outside of just the fact that Mike Budenholzer was completely outcoached, as well as the fact that there was some mismatches, Jimmy Butler just going off in that series was a huge factor, and I think he has to do that again to really give the Lakers a fight. Then for the power forward thing, I mean, it's Jay Crowder versus either Kyle Kuzma, or they're going to go with a center, and then it's Anthony Davis, but I think the Lakers are going to go small in this series. I don't think it's as necessary because Jay Crowder, even though he's been pretty good, is not an amazing three-point shooter, so I think there's some, like, they're not going to punish you for having another traditional big man out there outside of just Anthony Davis, so I could see them going big, but I think they're going to go small. And then Jay Crowder versus Kyle Kuzma. Jay Crowder is a better player. Kyle Kuzma has actually been decent in the playoffs, but Jay Crowder has been knocking down his three-pointers at a rate where it's like did you just learn how to shoot really well again like you were in Boston? But also a very good defensive player. He's going to be defending LeBron quite a bit, as I mentioned earlier, probably to give Jimmy some rest on that end. And then the center versus center matchup, Anthony Davis is going to struggle against Bam Adebayo. I feel pretty confident saying that because Bam, just like he's a matchup nightmare for Giannis, he's a matchup nightmare for Anthony Davis. Now, at least Anthony Davis is a better mid-range shooter and a better creator, but I think Bam's athleticism, length, speed, intelligence, all of that combined, he is one of the best Anthony Davis defenders there is out there. So as a result, Anthony Davis is not going to have the easiest time in the world. And this Miami Heat team in particular does a really good job of making sure that things are not easy for their opponent. Win, lose, or draw, even there isn't a draw in basketball, but it's a term, it's an expression. Win, lose, or draw, the Heat are going to make their opponent uncomfortable. And that's one of the most underrated elements of that team, and it's the reason why they've gotten to where they have. They make their opposition uncomfortable. And we've seen from the Lakers this year that being uncomfortable, they're not great at adjusting to that. And they also have these moments where they kind of just fall asleep at the wheel, and teams can really take advantage of that. There was a game versus the Nuggets where they had a big lead, and then the Lakers just kind of stopped playing basketball well for like a 5-minute stretch, and the Nuggets completely took advantage. And the Miami Heat are another team that's going to take advantage of you if you do that. And then when it comes to the coaching matchup, Eric Spoelstra is a far superior coach to Frank Vogel. And then if I'm also factoring in depth, Tyler Hero, if he continues to be awesome, he was kind of suspect in game 5. He didn't really figure it out versus the Celtics until the fourth quarter, and by then it was a little too late. So Tyler Hero could be a factor. He could be a pretty big factor, in fact. Andre Iguodala's been a good defensive player. Kelly Olynyk, I think, could get a good amount of minutes, get some of their traditional big men out of the paint. Kendrick Nunn hasn't really played. He's been kind of trash, so I don't know if he's going to get any run. But I do believe that the Miami Heat have a bit more depth, and I believe they have better coaching, and I think they have a better system. So all of this is to say, the Los Angeles Lakers are going to win the 2020 finals. I'm pretty confident in that. Now, the Miami Heat have made a good job of making me look dumb because this happened a while ago, but I was on the peer-to-peer podcast a while ago, and I watched it back the other day to fuel my ego, and me and Agent Zero completely laughed at Legend of Winning for saying the Miami Heat were gonna go anywhere. So I didn't fucking believe in this team, and we've seen where that's got me. So betting against the Miami Heat is not an easy bet to make at this point. I picked Celtics in 7. However, it's the Lakers, and it's 2 superstars versus maybe 1 superstar. Maybe 1. And to me, Jimmy Butler isn't even a superstar. I only say maybe to be nice because I think people have different definitions of superstars. But my definition of superstar, Jimmy Butler is not in that conversation. He's very close, but he's not there. Fuck. Camera died. What the hell was I saying? Fuck, what was I saying? Shit. Oh yeah, Jimmy Butler's not a superstar. That's what I was talking about. And the Lakers have 2 superstars. And as good of a matchup as the Miami Heat are versus the Los Angeles Lakers, and while they did take advantage of the coaching disadvantage and the lack of adjustments against the Milwaukee Bucks, who were a team that I believe to be a contender, unfortunately in the case of the Lakers, they're not the Bucks. They are 2 superstars deep, not 1. And if you shut down Anthony Davis, you still have to deal with LeBron. And I am very confident you're not going to shut down both of them, mainly because LeBron James has really never been shut down in the playoffs outside of 2011, and really that was more himself than anybody else. So you're not going to shut down LeBron, and if you do shut down Anthony Davis, I still think LeBron can beat you on his own with, a couple of other players just not being complete trash, and Anthony Davis just being serviceable. He's still going to be great defensively. I also think the Lakers are not a good matchup for the Heat because LeBron gets to guard Jimmy Butler, and that's going to be a struggle for Jimmy Butler. Bam Adebayo, he's going to have a quick big man on him, so a lot of the stuff that he takes advantage of against traditional bigs, he's not going to be able to do against Anthony Davis. He really can't put the ball on the floor against Anthony Davis, can't blow by him. He's not going to be able to be getting all these easy mid-range looks because slow-ass big men are backing up into the paint. That doesn't happen with Anthony Davis, so Bam Adebayo's offense is shot. Jimmy Butler, not going to be easy for him. Goran Dragic has Danny Green on him. That's a pretty good matchup for the Lakers. So defensively, I think the Heat are going to get locked down quite a bit by the Lakers, and I don't think the Lakers are going to get locked down by the Heat, even though the Heat are probably a mildly better defensive team, and they have a little bit better of a matchup. But it's a superstars league, and having these superstars matter. So, as everyone's been saying, the 2020 title is the Los Angeles Lakers title to lose. So they just better not lose it. But I will say, there has only been 2 playoff matchups outside of the first round, which that makes it 6, 2 out of 6, that I have been right about. I picked the Lakers over the Nuggets, and I picked the Celtics over the Raptors. I was right about that. And Nuggets versus Lakers was kind of obvious. And it seems like Lakers versus Heat should be obvious, but I could be cursing the Lakers right now. And I really like Jimmy Butler, and I really like Bam Adebayo. So I'm going to be rooting for the Miami Heat, continuing my trend as a Lakers hater. So hopefully I don't jinx either team. I guess we'll just see what happens. But yeah, I am picking the Lakers to win this series. I'm going to say 5 or 6 games. Either way, I think it's going to be close. It could be a close 5 or a close 6. Don't think it goes 7. Not impossible it goes 7. Jimmy Butler really has to put his foot on the gas, and the Heat have to be really locked in on defense while also having guys like Tyler Hero or Duncan Robinson or Goran Dragic really step up offensively. And thus far, all those things have happened, but for the Lakers, it's a whole nother animal that they have yet to face. So Lakers in, let's say, 6. If you want to support this content outside of just your like and subscription, there is extra content over on my Patreon that you can pay for and support me. That will be linked in the description. New podcast out, very fun episode. Go check that one out. And yeah, that is the end of this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more NBA content like this, and cue the outro music.